Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into some really intense sources. They tell this visceral story about a family trying to basically outrun their own demons by heading to Alaska. 1970s Alaska, no less.
That's right. We're looking at the Albright family. They made this huge move in 1974 to a place called Kennec, super isolated, way out on the frontier.
And our mission today really is to unpack how that extreme isolation didn't give them the fresh start they wanted.
Exactly. Instead, it acted like a pressure cooker. It didn't heal the old wounds. It amplified every crack, every fault line until the whole thing just shattered.
So let's paint a quick picture of this family first. You've got Ernst, he's the dad. Handsome, apparently, but really volatile, moody.
And a Vietnam POW. Decorated, but clearly deeply damaged by it.
Then there's Cora, the mom. Sort of fragile, always searching for something, and clinging to this idea that their love, lived on love, was enough.
Yeah, that fairy tale she tells herself. And then there's Leanie, the daughter, 13 years old.
Only 13, wow.
Yeah, and she's like the anchor, the ballast for the whole family.
Yeah.
Really observant, Feels like she's the only grown-up sometimes.
That really comes through, like her observation about her mom trying all those 70s self-help things.
Oh, right. EST, Buddhism. Leanie noticed she just came away with, like, T-shirts and sayings. Nothing deeper.
It's such a sharp insight for a kid. Shows she knew deep down that her parents needed way more than slogans. And the sources are super clear. The root of it all was Vietnam.
Absolutely. Ernst being shot down, captured. He came back a different person. Fundamentally changed.
Distant, couldn't keep a job as a mechanic.
Right, always wearing that old frayed military jacket, like he couldn't let go of that warrior identity even though it was broken. And that trauma, well, it became Cora's entire reality too.
Which brings up that codependency angle. Cora's explanation for his behavior. She'd say things like, the war and captivity had snapped something in him.
Yeah, or he's like, his back is broken, you get stronger so they can lean on you.
But doesn't that justification kind of enable him? The sources suggest her strength just fed into the cycle, right? Didn't really help him heal.
Oh, absolutely. Her fear and what she called love, it was all tied up in this sense of duty to him.
Mm-hmm.
She felt like if she wasn't strong, he'd just crumble.
So instead of pushing him to face it, she just absorbed all the anger?
Exactly, which, just gave him more room to grow, more oxygen.
And their life before Alaska reflects this, right? Just constant moving, Kent, then some commune in Oregon, Snohomish.
Nothing stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Alaska wasn't just another move, it was Ernst's. Like last stand, this desperate, almost paranoid search for a place he felt he belonged.
Because he felt the world was falling apart.
Pretty much. He kept saying things like, the world is being run by lunatics and it's not my America anymore. He needed somewhere totally separate from the outside, as he called it.
So off they go, north, in this primer-painted Mustang, and the journey itself. It immediately sets up this contrast, doesn't it? The grit and the beauty.
Totally. They hit the Homer Spit. Businesses and old Airstream trailers grabbed their essential rubber boots.
And then board the Tustumena ferry, the Tusty, which sounds kind of terrifying in itself.
Oh yeah, it's this hulking thing. And right away, Alaska hits them with that duality. For Leanie, it's pure magic at first.
Oh, wild, spectacular beauty. The glaciers, Kachemak Bay.
Stunning. But then there's Kennec itself, the town. And it's rough. Shacks, trailers, mobile homes, still visibly scarred from the big '64 earthquake that literally dropped the land 5 feet.
And they get that warning pretty quick, huh? About the dangers.
Oh, yeah. The local wisdom is stark, 1,000 ways to die in Alaska. Bears, wolves, moose. Danger is just everywhere.
And their actual homestead sounds like it embodies that perfectly.
It really does. Age-blackened logs, moss on the roof, decorated with animal skulls, bleached white ones.
Grim. And inside.
Even worse, according to Lanie's first impression, the smell. Poop, she says. Cobwebs, dead bugs everywhere, a sink with no plumbing.
Oh my God.
Took them 2 solid days of back-breaking work just to scrape it clean enough to, exist in. Just minimally habitable.
So they survived the initial shock of the cabin, but then they run smack into another Alaskan reality, the ideological divide among the people there.
Right. And this is where it shifts from just a survival story to something deeper, more psychological, about radicalization, really.
Yeah, the sources really lay out these two distinct groups, these sort of Alaskan archetypes.
Exactly. On one hand, you've got the established folks, the independent homesteaders, like Tom Walker's family.
His grandparents came during the Depression, right? So they're rooted there.
Yeah, practical, part of the community, willing to lend a hand. But, and this is key for Ernst, Tom also represents progress. He wants to renovate the local saloon, the Kicking Moose.
which Ernst sees as the outside creeping in, an invasion. Tom's stability is actually a threat to Ernst's whole worldview.
Precisely. And then there's the other side, so it's the more dangerous side, the survivalist compound.
Led by Matt Earl.
Yeah. Matt Earl. He's got this really intense, paranoid right-wing ideology, believes, the white man is losing out and war is coming. His place is loaded with guns, gas masks, prepping for TSHTF.
When the stuff hits the fan.
Right. And this is where Ernst finds his niche. His PTSD, that constant sense of threat, the need for control, feeling like a warrior against unseen enemies.
Yeah.
It just slots perfectly into Matt Earl's paranoid view.
He doesn't see them as extremists. He sees them as the only ones who get it.
Exactly. The only ones telling the truth.
Yeah.
And the isolation, it just pours fuel on that fire. Without any real psychological support, the paranoia just takes over.
So he starts merging his old military mindset with this prepper stuff.
And it ramps up his need for absolute control over Cora and Leanie, which leads to those survival drills.
Forcing them to learn to shoot, treating them like recruits.
Yeah. And that awful moment where Leanie gets the black eye from the rifle sight.
The Ricky mistake.
Right. And she's almost proud of it. Sees it as becoming tough Alaskan. It's heartbreaking because her sense of becoming resilient is tied directly to her father putting her in danger.
It's twisted. And his control wasn't just about, outside threats, was it? It became possessive.
Very. He starts getting really angry about how other men look at Cora, especially Tom Walker, Mr. Big Shot.
So you've got the resentment, the drinking's probably increasing, the paranoia, all building up just as the environment itself closes in.
Which takes us straight into the Alaskan winter, the real crucible.
Blaney calls it one big night, less than 6 hours of daylight.
Yeah, constant cold, oppressive darkness. Their whole world just shrinks down to that tiny, dark cabin. Total isolation.
And the sources show exactly what happens next. It's almost inevitable. Leanie notes the weather was getting worse, and so was he.
The isolation just feeds his instability. His anger explodes over tiny things like arguments about owing money for rice.
And it crosses the line into physical abuse.
Definitely. Cora ends up with bruises, a black eye. But even then, she's still trying to make excuses for him. He's sick. We have to forgive him.
Until his paranoia becomes literal. He builds that wall.
Oh, the wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge thing, topped with razor wire right across their driveway. He says it's for marauders, but it's a cage.
Like a gulag fence, yeah. Locking them in with his madness.
Which inevitably leads to the breaking point. It's brutal. He hits Cora hard, breaks her nose, her arm.
And Lainey sees it, that moment where the wolf takes over.
Yeah, she says she saw that wolves could claim its nature and turn, fangs bared. That's when Cora finally tries to run.
But how can you run? Middle of winter, dark, broken arm.
Impossible. So the reckoning is immediate, desperate. Cora grabs a rifle, shoots him twice in the back.
And just like that, mother and daughter become co-conspirators.
Instantly.
Yeah.
They have to stage the cabin rifle shots, blood make it look like a struggle. Then they sink his body in Glass Lake, weighted down with traps.
The story they put out. Ernst killed them both and disappeared.
Exactly. But, the story doesn't stop there. It casts a long shadow.
We jump ahead. Lenny gets out, right? Escapes to Seattle.
Lives under an alias Susan Grant. Works her way through college.
But the Alaskan community, they knew, didn't they? Or suspected.
Oh, they knew something wasn't right.
Right.
But they understood the underlying trauma. And this is crucial. They silently protected her.
Tom Walker, Large Marge, sending her money secretly.
Yep. Helping her build a new life from afar, while they all kept the secret back in Quebec. It's kind of frontier justice, almost. Community protection.
Years pass, and then closure comes, but tied to more tragedy. Cora gets cancer.
And after she dies, Lenny finds it. Her mother's final confession, written down, detailing everything, the abuse, the murder.
And Lenny makes this incredibly difficult choice, to go back.
Back to Homer, to turn herself in.
Even though she's warned, right, that the system isn't sympathetic to battered women who kill.
Yeah. But for Lenny, it's not really about the legal consequences. It's about breaking that cycle of secrets and lies. It's psychological liberation, accountability on her own terms.
And the ending. It's not neat, but there's hope there. She reunites with Matthew Walker.
Who's been through his own hell, a terrible accident, severe brain damage, scars, but he's alive. He's painting, trying to communicate.
And Lenny introduces him to someone.
Yeah, their son,
Yeah.
MJ. And that moment, seeing his son, it makes Matthew push through all his pain, his limitations, to actually hold him.
Wow. A real connection, despite everything. Proof that maybe healing can happen, even with those deep scars.
It really feels that way. And it brings Lenny's whole journey full circle, from fearing Alaska to needing it to finally understanding it.
That final insight she has is so powerful about how Alaska doesn't make you who you are.
Right. Alaska didn't create character, it revealed it. That's the quote. It shows you who you really are. You will either become your best self and flourish, or you will run away screaming.
From the dark, the cold, the hardship, it becomes this place of both absolute horror but also healing.
Exactly. So the sources really drive home that their dream of escape just slammed into the wall of their own trauma, fueled by isolation, and that radical ideology aren't latched onto.
It shows how lethal that combination can be when there's no support network.
But it also shows how the land itself, the very thing that revealed the worst, also provided the space for eventual truth, and maybe even peace.
That really is the core takeaway, isn't it? How environment and ideology collided on that 1970s frontier. The wildness amplified the danger for the Albrights, but ultimately it was also the truth teller.
Which leaves us with a pretty profound thought, especially considering Lenny's journey. Despite everything, the terror, the violence, the loss, she comes back. She eventually calls Alaska home. She feels she belongs there, as wild as the place itself.
So the question for you listening is maybe, what does it take? What transforms a place associated with such profound pain and danger into the very definition of safety, of belonging, something to think about?